Rutikanga Ferdinand, a boxer who carried national pride. Rutikanga Ferdinand, known as the pioneer of boxing in Rwanda, was a man full of unique traits and a great sense of humor, rooted in the achievements he made in the sport. Rutikanga passed away in 2022 at the age of 66 due to illness. He was originally from the former Ruhondo commune in the Ruhengeri prefecture but grew up in Lubumbashi, Katanga, in what was then Zaire, where his father worked for the Belgians in the mining sector. He was born a twin alongside his brother Ndagijimana Sylvain on April 12, 1956. At 6 months old, they moved to Zaire, returning to Rwanda in 1975 alone, as the rest of their family, including their older siblings and parents, remained behind. In various interviews on radio, TV, and in newspapers, Rutikanga claimed he was the one who introduced boxing to Rwanda. This is also confirmed by his twin, Ndagijimana Sylvain, now 69 years old, who was born first. Speaking on Nyiringanzo a KT radio show in May 2025, Ndagijimana explained that he and his late twin Rutikanga started learning boxing while in primary school in Zaire, at the Kipushi Youth Center Maison des Jeunes. He said they trained alongside other Rwandan youth, including members of the famed Impala Orchestra. He said, "Greater than, that's where we met many musicians, including Soso Mato, who was even my classmate in grade 5. They came to learn music, while my brother and I were into boxing." They also encountered other Impala members such as Sebagari Paul, Mimi LaRose, who lived in Kolwezi, Fidel Jakar, Kali Wanyenje, and Maitre Lubangi. Ndagijimana continued, "Greater than, all of them were part of the Impala Orchestra. As Rwandans, we used to say, we must learn these skills and bring them back to Rwanda, because there was no music industry or combat sports back home. These activities were only practiced by commandos, presidential guards, or university students. When they returned to Rwanda in 1975, they tried to introduce boxing but faced resistance from the Habyarimana regime. Even earlier, during holiday visits under the Kayibanda regime, 1961-1973, they had written to youth and sports authorities but never received responses. Ndagijimana recalled, "Greater than, those who replied said combat sports were strictly for soldiers. They feared civilians might learn them and start beating up soldiers." In 1976, they were fortunate to meet a senior military officer, Commander Nsengiyumba Makov, who taught soldiers how to fight. He advised them to join the army so they could teach boxing from within. They agreed and enlisted in the gendarmerie, receiving commando training in Bigogwe. Rutikanga excelled, earning the top-level certification, Brevet A, while Ndagijimana earned Brevet B. They eventually left the military, realizing it wouldn't fulfill their dream of promoting boxing. Luckily, they found an ally in Simeon Nteziryeyo, a forward-thinking minister who had studied in Europe, where boxing was well established. He approved the organization of Rwanda's first official boxing match in 1977. That historic fight featured both twins, Rutikanga and Ndagijimana, and took place in the multi-purpose hall of Lycée Notre Dame de Cido in Kigali, alongside other matchups. According to Ndagijimana, this was the foundational boxing event in Rwanda. However, the sport struggled to gain momentum, and players were often arrested by security agents who accused them of being thugs. Official recognition only came in 1986, when the Martial Arts Federation was granted legal status. The twins continued to box while also coaching and refereeing, although challenges persisted. After the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, efforts to revive boxing resumed despite continued hardships. Still, by 2019, Rutikanga and Ndagijimana were honored with medals for their role in promoting boxing in Rwanda. During their time in Zaire, they frequently participated in competitions, where Rutikanga stood out. When they represented Rwanda in Goma in 1983, locals mocked them as Muraho, a Rwandan greeting, implying they would easily be beaten. Rutikanga was offended. Once the match began, he severely beat the Zairean opponent, who ended up running away to avoid a knockout. However, Zairean referees declared the match a draw, causing outrage among Rwandans. The rematch in Jizani saw Rutikanga exact revenge. Ndagijimana, who was the referee, said Rutikanga punched the opponent so hard he bit his tongue. Soon after, they were invited to compete in Burundi, but Burundians refused, fearing Rutikanga's reputation. Rwandans returned home without competing but were hailed as heroes. Later, they went to Bukoba in Kagera region, Tanzania, in 1987, to fight at Kaitaba Stadium. Tanzanians tried to intimidate them by recalling the Muraho incident in Zaire, especially since few Rwandan fans were present. Rutikanga fought while Ndagijimana refereed. At the start of the bout, Rutikanga landed 6 consecutive punches, knocking the Tanzanian fighter out cold. He had to be taken to the hospital, and Rwanda won thanks to Rutikanga, who had by then become a regional boxing star. Rutikanga would jokingly say that the Tanzanians searched him for a hammer, thinking his punches were too strong to be human. Thankfully, the Tanzanian opponent later recovered. Rutikanga's love for boxing was inspired by the legendary Muhammad Ali, who fought George Foreman in the famed Rumble in the Jungle on October 29, 1974, in Kinshasa, on the invitation of President Mobutu Sese Seko. Both American fighters were black and passed away in different years, Ali in 2016, Foreman in 2025. On August 24, 2018, at age 60, Rutikanga officially retired in an exhibition match with his twin Ndagijimana at the Kigali Convention Center, where he was honored with a trophy. They had been part of various clubs, including one named Incuba, which featured Rutikanga's son, Umwanawace Dominique Savio. Rutikanga Ferdinand passed away on July 11, 2022, from prostate cancer at his home in Endera, Gasabo district. He is survived by his wife and 5 children. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.